Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Ariella. I'm a second-year medical student, and today I'm going to take you through what a day in my life is like when I don't have classes and I'm in summer break. So if you guys watched my previous video, you have an idea of the things that I'm trying to accomplish this summer. So I would highly recommend that you check that out if you'd like to get a better idea of what my plans are for the summer, especially given the current circumstances where social distancing is kind of still in place this summer. So yeah, I'm just gonna take you through what my day is like today so you get an idea of what it's like to be a med student in their first summer. And by the way, this is technically the only summer break that you get in medical school. You might get a small one in second year depending on when you take your COMLEX Level 1 and USMLE Step 1 exams, but it's definitely not like a full 2-month summer break. I'm gonna take a shower because I'm disgusting. It is so hot outside. Today was supposed to be a speed run, so that means that I run a mile as fast as I possibly can, but it just turned into a mile jog because it is so disgusting and so humid outside. And I'm trying not to get down on myself if I don't improve my pace every single day. I think up until now I had been improving, and I just kind of hit this wall where I am not really doing that much better, and I think part of that is the fact that I wasn't really well rested. Part of it is the fact that it's now 90 degrees outside every day, and the heat really kills my motivation to run. So the good thing is I got up and I did it, so small accomplishments, everyone. Okay. So on the to-do list for today is obviously I need to go through the Anki cards that are my review cards and my new cards today. In addition to that, I want to finish the thumbnail and finish uploading the video that's going to go up this coming Saturday, which is going to be my plans for the summer, which hopefully you guys have seen by this point. And then after I get all of that stuff done, I have a little bit of like just daily chores to do. I need to fold my laundry. I need to start considering what I'm gonna pack in terms of what I want to bring with me to my boyfriend's apartment. And once I get all that done, I'm free for the day. So I want to chat a little bit about like how my Anki is working right now. I'm gonna pull it up so I can see how many cards I have to do today. Total, I have about 750 cards to do today, which I think was the same amount that I did yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I did 760. So I have 602 review cards and then 150 new cards to do. Basically, right now I'm not using any external resources because I'm doing the renal Anki deck, and obviously since I just took renal, a lot of this is pretty fresh in my brain, so I don't need to relearn anything. But once I get into topics that I haven't done for quite a while, things like biochemistry and like immunology and things like that, I think I'm gonna need additional resources at that point. But for now, I basically just go through the cards. If there's anything that I need some work on, I look it up. Or if there's anything that wasn't taught to us in our personal lectures but is relevant for boards, then I'll spend time learning that. So I think I might have an example here. So I'm gonna record my screen so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, so something that was important for these cards that I was getting a lot of questions wrong on were the different body fluid shifts, and we learned nothing about this in our lectures. I don't really have a good explanation as to why. It's just not something that they chose to focus on, so maybe that means it's not extremely high yield for boards, but it's in this deck and I trust the deck, so I decided that I needed to take some time to learn it. So what I did is I drew out all the different body fluid shifts, and that helped me a lot to remember in what direction do the different osmolarities and intracellular and extracellular volumes move. I also wrote down whether or not the hematocrit and plasma protein changes because those are relevant for the cards. And then I also just included these little sections from a website that were really useful for me when I was trying to understand the actual physiology of what was going on. For example, for adrenal insufficiency, they were talking about how when the adrenal glands are not producing enough aldosterone, excess salt gets lost in the urine, and that means excess water follows it. And then you have decreased volume of the extracellular fluid because of the water loss, and the extracellular fluid is now hypotonic, meaning that there's less solutes in the extracellular fluid than there are in the intracellular fluid. So water will actually move into the intracellular fluid in order to maintain isoosmotic conditions. So that means that the osmolarity of both has decreased, the volume of the extracellular fluid has decreased, and the volume of the intracellular fluid has increased. So that just kind of helped me wrap my head around the physiology of what's going on. So yeah, that's just an example of that. Let me stop this recording. Yeah, that's just an example of one of the times that I needed to actually go find some resources and do a little bit more research before I approached the cards, because I just kept getting them wrong because I had no idea what they were talking about. Sometimes for some concepts, I think using note cards to learn is perfectly fine. Like things like anatomy, if you're using note cards to learn, I think that's probably the best situation in which you can learn it. But for cards that have a little bit more physiological context, I think it's important to go find an additional resource that can explain it to you better. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna make some coffee and then I'm gonna get to work on these note cards. So I have my coffee, I have Pop-Tarts because balance. And now it's time to get to work on these note cards, so I'm just going to dive right into them and cue montage. Okay guys, I'm gonna run upstairs and change because for some reason my house is freezing, so I need a sweater. But I have just about 400 cards left to do, and it is only 8:37. So we are actually making really good time today. Usually I like to be totally done with all the reviews and the new cards by noon. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but I think today that is definitely going to be the case. Also, I wanted to show you guys really quickly that I highly recommend reading these sections. It's not always going to be magenta if you haven't changed your Anki settings. I just changed it to magenta because it's easy to read on the background that I currently have. But a lot of the times they'll put relevant information after you've answered the card, and it's actually really helpful to read a lot of those. So I recommend doing that if you guys are just skipping through the cards like I was in the beginning. Not skipping through, but like getting the answer right and not bothering to read the bottom part of the card. These can be super useful for like little clinical pearls or just increased explanation, and like I was talking about earlier, increased context for the answer of the card. Okay, just wanted to keep you guys updated. It is now 10:25 and I have just done a couple of the 150 new cards that I need to do. So as you can see, I have 13 in the learning section that I didn't get right from the previous reviews, and then I also have 336 new cards, of which I'm only going to do 150. So we are almost there, almost done with note cards for the morning. Alright guys, so I have 212 cards left, which means I went through all 150 cards that I need to learn today. As you can see, I got quite a few wrong, almost 60 total learning cards that I didn't get right when I was going through those. And I would say that's pretty normal for learning new cards, just because sometimes it can be hard to tease out what exactly the card is asking for, but once you figure that out, the cards go a lot faster. So because I am using the Anki settings, I'll show you. If you're unfamiliar with Anki, I would watch several videos before you even attempt to mess with these settings. But basically what this means is that when I get a card wrong, I have to wait 25 minutes before I can attempt it once again. And then if I get a card right, I won't see the card again until 1,440 minutes later, which is the next day. If you use the original Anki settings, I'm pretty sure that this value is less than 1 day, so you will have to get the card right twice in order for it to be graduated to your learning cards. And so that's not really what I want to do. I want to see it and get it correct once and then have it moved to the next day. So additionally, if I get a card wrong, I don't want to see it again for another 25 minutes because I don't want to just be blindly answering the card based on what I remember from 5 minutes ago. So I give it a little bit of time so that way I actually have to think about the cards and what I'm doing. Unfortunately, that means when I get these cards wrong, I can't attempt them for another 25 minutes. I'm fairly positive that there is some way to force start your learning cards before that interval, but I haven't really figured it out. So if you guys know what it is, let me know. And if it doesn't exist, that's fine. I don't really mind waiting the 25 minutes. So I'm gonna give myself a short break and then we'll come back to this and maybe do some chores. Okay guys, so it is just about noon, I think. Yeah, it's 12:07. I have 4 cards left, which is basically negligible. I have completed my note cards for the day. So like I said, I'm gonna get cleaned up in here and fold up all my laundry and just do some chores while I watch some YouTube videos on Terraria. If it was a normal day, I've been spending my days playing that game with my brother because it's really fun. He has a test today, so we are going to let him be successful on his exam and then we'll come back to that game later. So I will probably not be playing that today, but I just want to let you know that a large chunk of my days is usually playing video games. Okay, time to clean. Also, if you guys are wondering why I don't take the time to actually do more than 150 Anki cards when I have extra time, like today it's only 1:30 and I'm already done. I don't have anything else to do today basically, so it would make sense to think, oh okay, so I have more time to do more cards today, but I don't want to unintentionally beef up my reviews that I have to do tomorrow because that makes it so that I might not be able to finish them tomorrow and then I might get behind on the reviews that I need to do. And so I think the best way to approach something like this is to just do the assigned amount of reviews every day, maybe a little bit extra, but I would say no more than like 50 to 100 extra cards per day, so that way you don't overwhelm yourself the next day when you have 1,000 cards to do instead of your normal 700. So that's just my opinion, and I'm really trying to maintain this like half doing work, half relaxing and enjoying my summer. Yeah, I think it's really important to start second year fresh and make sure that you're not already burnt out from studying over the summer. But of course it goes both ways. I've read opinions online where they didn't do any work over the summer and they were really refreshed and came back to second year ready to start work again. And then I've also read other opinions where they used their summer to actually learn second year boards material and they had a really easy second year because of it and would recommend doing that. So I think you should look at all the options that are available to you and decide what's going to be the best for you. For me personally, if I have extra time, I might start going through the sketchies and maybe Boards and Beyond videos for information for the upcoming semester, but that is definitely like the last goal that I have. If I've gone through all my cards, I'm just doing reviews and I need something else to do. I don't think that'll happen, and for me, I don't really think that it's worth it to spend all that extra time learning over the summer because that's what the school year is for. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated if that changes in the future. Okay, actually, I also forgot that I wanted to finish editing my video and thumbnail, and then I'm also gonna make a new banner for my YouTube channel because I noticed that the letters kind of get cut off on the mobile app. So I'm gonna make something that kind of reflects my intro that I've been using lately, and hopefully that works out. So yeah, I'm gonna work on those, get a little like artistic creative juices flowing. Okay, YouTube banner sizing is very weird. So this is where I am right now. I need to move that box up, which requires many steps, but it's okay. I'm gonna try again and we'll see if I can get this right. Okay, upgrades. I think I officially got this as good as it's gonna get. This little Y is cut off, but that's not really something that I can change, so I'm happy with this. Hopefully in the future I can figure out a way to make it higher quality, because if you look at it on the computer, you can't really tell on camera, but it is definitely a little bit low res. That's probably just because my monitor is 1080p, so I can pick out the details that aren't quite as sharp as I would like them to be. But to be honest, I think most people see these banners on mobile anyway, so I'm not that concerned about it. Yeah, so that's all my YouTube work that I had to do for today. So now I officially just get to relax. Okay guys, so my brother actually finished his test. I think he thought it went well. We're just gonna play Terraria for the rest of the night. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Like and subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Say goodbye and
Bye.
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, but I can't force you to do anything. It's not a dystopian society.